It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.
Hello there, South Mississippi. Thank you for waking up with Wesley, and happy Friday to you. We are expecting to see a nice stretch of weather into the weekend with dry high pressure in place. I'm going to be very straightforward with you here. This type of weather pattern is not one that's expected to change very much, folks. So if you liked yesterday, you're going to like today. You're also going to like this weekend. The next time we could see some change to the weather pattern might not be until next week. I do want to start off talking about our drought situation. We did get the latest drought monitor that was released yesterday, and we told you that yesterday in yesterday's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. But we'll remind you of that in case you missed it, that there's a look at the drought monitor right here. So we are at a level 2 drought in South Mississippi, and that is pretty much the same that we've been seeing over the last month. But I think it's about to get worse. So I predict that we are likely going to see a stage 3, level 3 drought when this is updated again next week. That's out of 5, by the way. So we could go from moderate drought to severe drought. And so when you look at how much rain we've seen so far this month, none. At least at the Gulfport Airport, and you're supposed to have basically 1 3/4 of an inch of rain by this time of the month. Fortunately, the rain deficit that we are seeing for the month is not reflected for the year. The year still is doing okay. We are only about 1 inch away from the year's rain, so that's good that at least one of these is close to normal, even though the month is not, but we'll have some catch up to play. We'll have to play catch up as we go later on into the month. That was just for Gulfport and Biloxi's numbers, but this is a look at kind of the numbers, or at least percentage numbers for the whole area. And the whole map is red. Some of the map is like dark red. So most of us have seen less than, I would say, 5% of our normal rain of the month so far. And I actually had to go look back when was the last time we actually saw any measurable rain, at least at the Gulfport Airport, and that was back on October 29th. So yeah, things are getting kind of dusty around here. I know this is the time of year when the leaves change color from green to maybe some fall colors, but I think they're just going to kind of change to brown. I know that sometimes in the month of November we can get some fall colors in parts of South Mississippi. I know this because you all have sent us the pictures of it. Just last year, someone sent us a picture of a beautiful golden yellow tree in the Wiggins area. I took a picture myself in the D'Iberville area a few years back, I think in 2016, 2017, of just vibrant red fall colors in the Promenade shopping area there. So there are some trees that do change color this time of year, around November-ish, right here in our 6 southernmost counties. Not every tree does it. Obviously, the pine trees do not do that. But if it's the right tree and if you had the right conditions, you can get the perfect fall color recipe. But our recipe is missing a major ingredient, and that's rain. We lacked rain during the late summer, so that's why any fall colors, if there's any out there, they're going to be way less pronounced in South Mississippi this year compared to normal. And a lot of the trees might just go straight from green to brown with it being so dry and things kind of drying up, shriveling up. So looking ahead, can we get more rain? Yes, but it does not look like a slam dunk chance. And the timing of it is very minuscule. It's going to be a rain system that tries to move our way next week. So that means now, Friday, the 14th, all the way through the weekend, you're not really planning on much of a chance for rain. The chances will remain at 20% or less. That's what the green color indicates. We go with a 20% or less rain chance probably through Tuesday or Wednesday. I think that it won't be until Thursday that we see a decent chance for rain. But the models are not in complete agreement on the timing. Some models a little earlier next week, some models like this European one that you're looking at a little later, but at some point next week another system comes in, and look, you don't even have like continuous, like it's like yellow green red green red green red, like usually it's like a continuous yellow, yellow, red, 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 red. So with that kind of on and off rain, it really just doesn't look like it's going to be the type of rain we need to bust the drought, but instead maybe just some on and off showers at some point around next Thursday, around next Friday. This could be kind of like mainly a Thursday PM, Friday AM type deal, and that's how we could get to that. But the reason why we see in the short term all of this green here, all these low rain chances, is because of the high pressure pattern that's in place right now. And that's what's kind of keeping the rain systems away. If you look across the country, and really what we'll do here is turn on the jet stream to show you kind of the upper pattern. So here's the upper pattern across. I don't really show this graphic too often because it requires a bit more explanation and understanding. But upstairs in the air, just like we talk about high pressure and low pressure a lot of times on the weather map, there's a similar way that things operate upstairs, above the surface as well. And what you're looking at here is the jet stream. You've got colors. The warmer the colors are, the higher the wind speeds aloft are. And this helps us as a meteorologist to understand where the jet stream is, wherever the fastest winds are going. That tells us where it is. And I can draw on this and kind of show you that we have I'll use some solid arrows here for you. So we have the jet stream coming in like this, going down around this low, this Pacific low that's swirling offshore of California. And then the jet stream goes way up into Canada, before it rounds the bend and then comes right back down across the Northeast. So a very crude and rudimentary drawing, but that is it gives you a ballpark idea of where the jet stream is. What causes the jet stream to be pulled down? An upper low. And that's exactly what's swirling offshore of California. We also have a very large upper low. This was the one that brought us the cold snap earlier this week. That has now moved off into the Northeast. And in between those two lows, you've got a ridge of high pressure. So that's usually how meteorologists talk about the upstairs jet level flow, troughs and ridges. You'll hear those words a lot. A trough indicates an area where the jet stream is going lower in latitude. A ridge indicates an area where the jet stream is going higher up in latitude. So that kind of gives you the idea. And when you have those lows, you're usually going to see inclement weather, rain, snow, unsettled conditions. Where you have the highs, you're usually going to see fair weather, tranquil, dry, sunshine. And that literally, if I switch this from whatever you're looking at now to the satellite and radar, you'll see exactly that concept that I'm so happy that I learned in school shows up right here on your map for satellite and first alert radar. Let me turn a little bit more satellite on since we are zoomed way out. So I think I've got the global satellite that's coming on. Okay, so now we can see even more of it. And so, yeah, you can see exactly what's going on. Where's most of the unsettled weather? It's happening in this general area here, close to that low that is sitting, or the upper low that is sitting offshore of California. And the flow coming around that low is kicking up Pacific moisture that is streaming into the Rockies. You also have that other low that I said that was sitting out here. And most of the weather with that is mainly offshore in this area here. But because you've got this wind coming in on the backside of the low, it's actually kicking up some lake effect snow showers in in the Great Lakes region. So you got all of this snow showing up off the Great Lakes there. But away from those lows, in the middle of the country, look at this, clear as a bell. Basically from Arizona to Texas to Alabama and Florida, all of this area right here, there's pretty much not a drop of rain in sight. And that's exactly where we analyzed the high just a moment ago, the upper high, the ridge of high pressure. So yeah, it's all connected, it all makes sense. And with this pattern here, it's actually got a specific terminology for it, in which you have the jet stream dropping way low, then coming up, and then coming back down like that. It's shaped like the Greek letter omega. Do you see that shape there? If you look up, Google the Greek letter omega, it comes down, goes up, and comes down again. And this is actually called an omega blocking pattern, in which high pressure is stuck. The high pressure can't move off to the east because the trough is sitting in front of it, blocking it from moving. But most importantly, this rain system that we would love to bring us some rain, it can't get here because you've got this big blocking ridge of high pressure that's just set up across the middle part of the country, and it's preventing any eastward movement of that rain. So that's why we're not really seeing this rain materialize for us, because it can't get here. It has to go up and over and around the ridge. And so it doesn't ever make it to the Gulf Coast region because it can't get here because of the blocking, or the omega block pattern, if you will. But the idea is that eventually, over time, that pattern will break down, and that's what we're going to look at on the computer model here. Once that Pacific moisture eventually breaks down the high pressure ridge, that's how that moisture can finally make it here. So you're looking at this, trying to see our rain chances. Don't see any for Saturday. Don't see a whole lot of rain chance for you on Sunday, other than maybe a stray little shower that doesn't even amount to 10% chance. Now, by the time we get to Monday, there's a little bit more moisture that we can work with. You can see the winds coming in from the Gulf. So we're working with a little bit more atmospheric moisture. Maybe we can pop a few spotty, stray showers, nothing huge. But then once we get to Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, that's when that system will begin to take shape off to our west. And there's going to be this low sitting out here, and it's kicking out deeper moisture out ahead of the low. So places like Texas getting in on some pretty good rain chances next Wednesday. Where does it go next Thursday? It doesn't move at all. It's still stuck with even deeper moisture sitting over these areas. They might be almost in for a flood threat with multiple days underneath deep moisture. We're not really there yet. But then if we watch it, it finally begins to move as we go from Thursday to Friday. Now that moisture is on the move, the low finally moving our way. This would technically be a front as well. You can almost see exactly where the front is located. It's the dividing between the dry and the moist. And so this would be one of our best rain chances, Thursday p.m. to Friday a.m. You can see all of this rich atmospheric moisture here, making it very easy for rain to develop. And then we go to the rest of Friday, and that system quickly on the move. So the cool front passes through the area. Maybe we're drying out. That would be Friday into Saturday, and that's Saturday, November 22nd, which is the weekend before Thanksgiving, probably a busy travel weekend. And it looks like the weather drying out in the wake of a cool front. But there's only a small window of time there that we can really get rain from there, right? If we rewind it, it's really only right here. That's Thursday p.m., that's Friday a.m., and then by Friday p.m. the rain's already gone. Now, the timing on this is not locked in. It can fluctuate as we continue to track the updates to the forecast, but for right now, that's what the information shows. Your best rain chances Thursday p.m. to Friday a.m., leading into a potentially dry pre-Thanksgiving weekend. But for now, the high pressure setting up, keeping our weekend dry, keeping our weekend calm. So calm that the last thing I want to show you before I go are these pictures that I took yesterday when I was by the beach in Biloxi. And I will make this full screen for you so you can see this incredible sort of feature that happens when you have the really calm water. You can barely tell where the sky ends and where the water begins. This was in the beach in Biloxi yesterday morning. And yeah, you can just see, you kind of lose the horizon, right? I dare you to find the horizon. It's very hard to see, but I guess maybe that would be it. I took another picture. This was from DeBees Road in Biloxi, looking toward the beach. Again, you can barely see the water reflecting right there, but then it just transitions over to the sky. So that's when you know that the water is really super calm. And that can happen when you have that high pressure system sitting directly overhead, promoting a quiet, calm pattern. One last picture before we go. This was right on the beach sand, looking out toward the water. There's the sand, there's the water, and eventually there's the sky. But with the water so still, it can be difficult at times to tell the difference between the two if you find the right view at the beach. So we'll take a quick look at the 7-day forecast before we go. Like I said, that still weather pattern with high pressure, that's going to likely continue into the next the next several days into the weekend. Eventually next week, we do start to reintroduce rain chances, little ones, on Monday and Tuesday. And then eventually some better rain chances, maybe around next Thursday, maybe into next Friday. We'll see if the timing changes as we get closer. Well, that'll pretty much do it for today's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. We'll leave you with this view at the IAP Casino Resort and Spa with the still waters of Back Bay. I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll catch you again next time.
Thank you for watching Waking Up with Wesley with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.